And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome back the incredible New York Times bestselling authors of soon to be 11 books. Her 11th book is out tomorrow, and she's here to give us the inside scoop. Heather Gudenkauf, tell us about The Perfect Host.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here, Sarah. It's always so much fun to talk with you. So the Perfect Host. So it's the story of Madeline and Wes Drake. They are two wealthy ranch owners out in Wyoming, and they are expecting their first child. And as some people choose to do, they decide to plan an over-the-top gender reveal party with 200 of their closest friends, and there's champagne, there's food, there's a rodeo, and there is a famous country artist who's going to come perform for them. And as they're getting ready and the reveal begins, something goes terribly awry. And as a result, one of the guests ends up dead, many injured. And that's when the real mystery begins.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am so excited to get the inside scoop, and I have so many questions for you, Heather. And also, we had some questions submitted in advance, so I can't wait to get to those too. But first, I just want to welcome everyone because we are broadcasting live to 8 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So, hey, mystery and thriller lovers, wherever you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder. We are going to make it a little less painful and get your week off to a killer start. So if you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured author. Here she is, Heather Gudenkauf. And you get to ask Heather anything. So ask her about her writing process. Ask her about her craft. Ask her book 11. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Just get those questions going in the comments and I'll get them right over to her. Amy is joining us from Facebook saying, hello. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the conversation. So Heather, let's jump in first with some questions which were submitted in advance. So this book is told in multiple POVs. We start out with Madeline, who is the expecting mom, getting ready for her party. But then we jump into some other POVs. And this reader would like to know, did you have a favorite person to write? And she had a 2-part question, but let's start with that first.
Yeah, so it is. It's the story, like many of my books, they are told in multiple points of view. And we have Madeline, who's the mom to be, and we have a few other characters who are introduced throughout the story. But one of actually my favorite characters to write is Jamie Saldano, and Jamie is the ATF agent who comes to Nightjar, the small Wyoming town, and to Lone Tree Ranch to investigate this explosion and this death. And I loved writing about Jamie. He is this consummate professional. He's rising in the ranks in the ATF, but he decides to come personally investigate this crime. And we find out that he has a real connection to the small town, to the community, to an event that happened years earlier. And when he was a child, and nobody knows who he is except for maybe one person at the beginning of the story. And he is sleuthing. He has another crime that he also wants to solve. I loved writing about him. I really liked Jamie. I loved his story. He was a lot of fun. Oh.
Stacy's second part of her question is, was one of the characters harder to write? If so, who and why?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is a great question. I would have to say the character of Melly, who is an adult, but a younger adult, who has her own life challenges. And as we get to know her, she also is a little hard to like. She makes some life choices that aren't in her best interest or in the best interest of others. But I think in the story, as we get to learn, not only is she a part of the chaos, but she also is somewhat of a sympathetic character in some ways. I think people will find when they start to have the conversations about the characters in the book.
Heather, I guess I have a follow-up question now from that juicy answer. Since you created all of these characters and this world. Did you find Melly unlikable? Is it, let's start there.
Mm-hmm. I didn't, in the sense I didn't approve of all her choices and life choices, but I also approached her, I think probably as a mom. I mean, she's young. She's barely in her 20s, if that, barely in her 20s. And she just is lost in her own way and doesn't quite know how to navigate the world in the way that's best for her. And I guess I would be disappointed in Melly, but I don't think of her as, a character who can't be, just have some ways of making things right if possible. But she leaves that up to interpretation.
Yeah, because I think just as, I think, was it Hemingway who said, kill your darlings, make their lives harder. And I'm like, totally, that makes sense. And then I get to my keyboard and I'm like, not my darlings. Like somebody else do that. Like, I don't want to like twist the winch and like squeeze them. I know that I should, and it makes good reading and it makes good drama, but I love them, Heather. And do you find that hard? 11 books in, do you find it hard? And on one book in, did you find it hard?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do get attached. You spend all these, days, months, sometimes years with characters, and you get to know them inside and out. And sometimes they take us in their own direction. And we just, I think the more we write about a character, the more we get into our books, we get to know more about them. And, as with anybody, you get to know really well. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh my God, that's so true. That I did not think of that. Let's jump into some of the audience questions. Randy's joining us from YouTube. Oh my God, Randy, I love your new profile picture. Read books, be kind, stay weird. Totally vibing with that. He says, hi, Sarah. Hi, Heather. Two of my favorite ladies in the same place. Oh my God, Randy, just always brightening my day. Thank you so much for joining us. John is joining us from YouTube, saying greetings from Northeast Ohio. Hi, John. So good to see you as always. Jane Brannigan Kaufman, welcome to the conversation. Wants to know, Heather, do your characters speak to you? Great question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I mentioned, as you get to know them through the pages, they have their own stories they want to tell. And they emerge, through me onto the page. And yeah, absolutely. So we have Madeline, who at first glance is this really perfectly poised woman who seems to have it all. I mean, she's this gorgeous ranch. She's got a handsome husband who adores her, and she's doing what she loves. She raises horses and teaches horse riding, but we learn pretty quickly that she's very uncomfortable with her wealth. She's very uncomfortable with the spotlight and with, some of what she has. And, as I got to know her, that really clearly comes shining through in the story, that she's kind of a reluctant in her, the gifts that she's gotten through life and earned through life.
And we see that very early in the book where she's looking out on this grand vista of the Tetons. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
And I was like, is it Tetons or Tetons? And marveling at the beauty of her 14,000 square foot, ranch, her home, and looking at this beautiful land, the mountain that she owns, although she's thinking to herself, maybe none of us really own a mountain. And feeling, you can feel the guilt and sort of like, how do I have so much?
Right. And that is a theme, I think, that follows her throughout the story.
So following up on Jane's lovely question, when they speak to you, do you hear their voices? Like, does Madeline have an accent? Does Melly, do you actually hear, a younger voice for Melly? Do you hear a male voice for Jamie? Like, how do they sound to you?
Yeah, I guess I don't, not to that extent, but definitely in my head and through my hands to the keyboard and onto the page.
From your hands onto the keyboard. I love that. Tori T joining us from YouTube saying hello from another killer. LOL. Hi, Tori. Yes, two killers here on the page, obviously.
Obviously.
You guys, I want to remind you that this book is not even out yet. It is dropping tomorrow, and Heather is jumping on to give us the inside scoop and take your questions live. And you can get your mitts on a copy of this book from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. So whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube, I'm going to share the link so that you can get your copy of The Perfect Host and immerse yourself in the world of Madeline, Jamie, Melly, and a few more characters as well. And let us know what you think of The Perfect Hosts. I want to share some of the incredible praise that the book has earned, Heather, because, oh my gosh, as I was reading through the reviews, I was like, okay, this is like a who's who of the thriller world, and so deservedly so. You are such a pillar of the community. Everybody loves you. So let's see what folks had to say about the books. So first from Mary Kubica, who says, you don't know who to trust or where loyalties lie in The Perfect Hosts. I loved every minute of this fun, twisty, wild ride. And we know this takes place on a horse ranch. So how fun was it that she said a wild ride, as there is bronco riding and roping on the agenda for the weekend. I was like, I see what you're doing, Mary. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Absolutely. Yeah, the writing community, as you know, is just super supportive, and it's always thrilling when one of your colleagues and people who you admire and the writing that you admire likes what you've done.
And Mary was not the only one raving. So let's take, well, first of all, actually, I want to ask you, sorry, someone asked about, who was it who asked about your process? Are you a plotter or a pantser? So speaking of that wild and twisty ride, how did you create that wild and twisty ride that Mary loved so much? Do you plot it all out, Heather? Do you write? Do you follow the characters? Give us an inside scoop. Oh, and shout out to Deneen for this excellent question.
Yeah. So for me, I've really evolved as a writer. I think in the beginning, I was definitely a pantser. I had an idea. I had some characters that I wanted to explore a little bit more, and I just went right in. And that's worked for me. And that's, it's been a great process for me. And I really enjoy writing that way. I think as, with each book, I learn a little bit more about myself as a writer. I learn more about my process and what works and doesn't work. And I found that, as we all know, life often happens, and sometimes we need to step away from the page as writers because things happen. And I found that when those things happened, I had a hard time stepping back into my project and kind of grounding myself into where the story was, where I was at, and where I was going. And I thought, okay, I need to have a path, have a map. And so I kind of call myself a hybrid plotter pantser. I'm somewhere in the middle. I do, like, for the Perfect Host, I did outline it. I did have a map of where I wanted it to go. And for the most part, I stayed pretty true to that map. But as with every project, things change. And I think allowing myself to have that freedom to go off in a different direction. And for me, I think that's where the magic in writing happens, when I'm just as surprised as hopefully the readers are about what's going on in the story. And so I'm somewhere in the middle.
When
Plantser. There's a word for it. Plantser.
The Plantser. Over the course of 11 books, when did that shift from you from total pantser to, oh, I'm having trouble finding my way back in the story when life takes us away, as it invariably does?
I think it was after, I think this was it. This was the first one I really thought it through. And I have to give a shout out to my fellow killer author, Kimberly Bell, who is an accomplished plotter. And I knew she was, and I reached out to her and said, I'm going to start plotting a little bit more? Do you have some tips for me? And she was so kind. She was able to, share her process with me. And I've taken, bits of that and added some things of my own and, really finding what works for me. And knock on wood, I can continue that way. But it's, I'm glad to know that I'm always learning and evolving as a writer. It doesn't stop just because you have, several books under your belt. My goal is always to get better.
I love that. And I want to know, on book 11, do the nerves ever settle? Those pre-pub nerves where you're like, did I put that comma in? Oh my God, did I remember to reveal the thing about Jamie? Oh my gosh, did I send, the review request to, this person? Did I send an arc to Sara DiVello? Obviously the most important thing. But are these things, oh yes, Kimberly is awesome, Randy. And she's been on for her last 4 or 5 books as well. Do those nerves ever go away?
No, they do not. They do not. And with every book, it's just, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, but it is nerve-wracking. You've worked on this project for so long, and it's finally getting into the hands of readers. And I worry. I hope that I do the book justice. I hope that people enjoy it. I hope that, I did cross all my T's and dot my I's, and I know that a typo probably got snuck in there somewhere. But one thing I have learned over the years is that I'll get through it. You make it to the other side, you'll have the nerves. It's natural. It's okay. And it's, you get through it and you move on to the next project.
Totally. Oh, you're getting hearts and thumbs up on Facebook. Thank you guys. This is resonating. Yeah, because I imagine, when you're first starting out on book 1, it's harder to break in because, you're new, nobody knows you. But on book 11, you've already hit the New York Times. You have a legion of devoted fans, a network of fellow authors that is so supportive, but also the pressure because now you have something to live up to.
Yeah, that's very true. Accolades come and go. And ultimately, it's wonderful to make the list. It's wonderful to have these incredible quotes from fellow authors. And it's really freeing to know that I can do it. I can continue to write. I'm lucky that I'm able to write. Whether people love the story or not, the key is that, do I love it? Do I, the hours and months and, even years I spend on a story, does it make me proud? And I think that helps get you through some of those more challenging moments when you feel like nobody likes what you've done and nobody's enjoying it, and you begin to fear that, is my writing career over? Will this, will it continue? And if you love the story, if you're proud of the story, that can take you a long way.
Well, David is saying he can't wait to read it.
I got to say,
gosh, I love your T-shirt. Everyone watches women's sports.
Yes,
David, represent.
David and I went to elementary through high school together. So hi, David. It's so great to see you.
Oh my God, elementary through high school. So you were at the next little desk over from David for. Oh my God, because he's a G and you're a G. Garcia and Gudenkauf. Oh my God, you guys were at the little neighboring desks. That's so cute. Oh my God, I love it. He's saying hi. This is so cool. Hi, David. Oh, David, tell us a secret about middle school Heather. Oh my God, did she show everyone her underpants? Tell us a juicy secret about Heather Gudenkauf, now a New York Times bestseller, then a potential middle school nudist. We don't know. Tell us the scoop. Yeah, Heather, I want to talk about some of the other amazing praise that, because I want to get to this too, and also get to some of the amazing other questions. Samantha Downing, one of my faves, who has been on for her. David says his lips are sealed. He is a true gentleman. Okay, so now we know There are secrets. There are skeletons in Gudenkauf's closet, but Garcia's going to protect them like the true gentleman that he is.
He is.
Okay, what a good guy. Jennifer joining us from Facebook as well, saying hello. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the conversation. Heather, I want to talk about this review from Samantha Downing, one of our faves, and she's been on for her last few books as well. She says, the perfect host is like Yellowstone meets the guest list. What a fun mashup. And as soon as she said it, I was like, oh my God, totally. But I would have never thought to put those two together. She says, a compelling, unputdownable story with big twists. I loved it. Now, if Samantha Downing says it's big twist, we know it's going to be big twist. So congratulations on that review, and others are raving as well. So let's talk about Kirkus saying Gudenkauf, and we're going to talk about this one because it gets into craft. Kirk is saying Gudenkauf excels at establishing character and atmosphere. Hold on, I'm going to prop it up so we can all see it. And a sense of dread permeates every scene. So Heather, let's talk about that. What do you think is the key to establishing character and atmosphere? And how do you build a sense of dread permeating every scene?
Yeah, well, for me, setting is right up there with
so
the main characters. Yes, and wherever it is. And I was lucky enough to make a few trips out west, not that far west, but and visit a dude ranch a couple times and go horseback riding and visit with a wrangler who was hugely helpful in that arena. And there's something so beautiful if you ever have the chance to travel out west and get into the mountains, and it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, but it's very isolating, and it just lends itself to the unknown and mystery and creepiness, and so that was really fun to write about and to layer that in throughout the story, because we have this little family, husband and wife, who are important community members, but it's also a very vast community. Everything's all spread out. It's small, but spread out, and they're in this area where there's no one around. And so they may feel like they have all the control in the world over their space, their land. I put that in quotes, but they don't, because it just danger is looming at every corner. And I just think, layering those scenes throughout the book of isolation and unknown and darkness really helps set the tone for the story. And that sense of dread, which is, key to a thriller. You want the reader to feel the isolation, the being unsettled, like the characters are feeling.
Oh my God, I love that. And I also, as I was reading, I was noticing, I was like, oh, Heather owns the foreshadowing game. Like there were just these little moments where I was like, oh, I remember all the way back there. That is cool. So you went to a dude ranch. What is a dude ranch?
Well, it wasn't one where you stayed at. It was a horse riding ranch, and it just a bunch of horses and this wrangler who would take you out on the trail. And she spent a lot. I told her what I was doing, and she was so kind to give me all the inside scoop about caring for horses and life out west. And there's even several of the horses ended up in the story because I love them.
Oh my God, those are real horses. Okay, yeah. So wait, had you ever ridden a horse before? And how was that for you?
I have, but not often. I not often. And so I feel like in another life I should have been a cowgirl. And if I, could do things over again, I would give up my car so I could own a horse or something. You know what I mean? I just adore, they're just beautiful, gentle animals. And I loved every minute of it.
So I was so interested because I love horses too. And interestingly, my sister Hannah, who is in the Army now, used to work as a horse trainer and also worked at an equine therapy place for the deaf. So she worked with deaf kids to experience the wonder and the healing that is to be in the presence of horses, as well as she was at the school for the deaf for a while. Then she went to a school for kids with disabilities and adaptive learning, and helped those kids who had a wide range of disabilities, again, to experience equine therapy. And they may they may not be able to walk, but they can ride. And so I was so interested. I love horses and I find them very therapeutic, and my sister worked in that world, but some people actually have a phobia of horses. So I was wondering if you had
I just think, you have to have respect, of course, and they are large, powerful beasts, but there is something very soulful about a horse, and I can see why they're very effective in assisting with therapeutic treatments and support for all sorts of folks.
Yeah, just burying your nose in the neck of a horse and breathing is very, very calming and very, very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Ashley Winstead weighed in with some words of praise as well. Let's see what Ashley has to say. She says, riveting crimes from the past and the present collide in this pickup driving, shotgun slinging, explosive detonating ride. Fans of Yellowstone will love this propulsive thriller, a book you can't put down. Congratulations on Ashley Winstead weighing in with that review. And also Sally Hepworth, our favorite Australian, well, one of our favorite Australians. We can't forget about Jane Harper. And oh my God, now I'm thinking of all the other Australians that I love as well.
So many.
One of our favorite Australians, saying deliciously tense and wickedly clever. The Perfect Host is a sharp, suspenseful, and bursting with secrets. I was hooked from the first page to the final jaw-dropping reveal. Sally clearly knows a few things about reveals as well. Oh my goodness. Okay. Someone is saying that Jennifer's saying, I ordered my book and it is supposed to be here Wednesday. I can't wait. Oh, thank you for pre-ordering, Jennifer. I saw a quote the other day on social that said, pre-ordering is a gift that you give to your future self. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. So I was so glad you gifted yourself. Treat yourself. Okay, Jane wants to know, Heather, what are you working on next? Yeah, because we are in this industry where just as we're thinking like, my God, Heather's still sitting at her desk putting that final, typing the end as it comes out tomorrow. But of course, the book has really been done for months.
Yes, yeah. So I've been working on 2 projects, which is unusual to me because I usually just tackle one at a time. But recently have turned in a project I'm doing with my Killer Author Club buddies, Kara Ruda and Kimberly Bell. We are publishing a book in 2027 called Take Back the Night. And so that is in the pre-pub phase of everything, and we'll be getting back some edits, I know, but that's exciting for us, and more to come on that. But I am working on my 12th solo novel, and it's been a lot of fun. It's really dark, if you can believe it, and I have returned squarely to my home state of Iowa. Many of my books are set in Iowa. The last couple I've written I've stepped out of Iowa, but have Iowa connections. But this one is right back in Iowa, and it's dark and twisty, and I'm really excited to share it with folks. I'm not quite done yet. I have some more chapters to go, but I'll look forward to telling people more about that.
Well, friends, thank you for the great question, Jane. I love that you set your books in Iowa, because I feel like we see so many books that are set in New York, and I'm guilty of that. I write true crime, so I can't help it, right? The crime happens where it happens. But I feel like we see so many novels where the imagined setting is either New York or it's sort of just some vague nowhere. We don't know where it is. It could be anywhere USA. I've never been to Iowa. And what I love about reading is that I get to walk through the world in a way I've never done, through the pages of your books. So when you set a book in Iowa as an Iowan, I'm like, ooh, I'm getting an Iowa experience. I love that. And also it gives, visibility and representation to, Iowans and your neighboring Midwest states. Like I love that.
Yeah, I love writing about my home state. It's really beautiful. Many people think it's just, it is a flyover state. People usually come here if they have a relative, a relative to, or for a sports event of some kind. But it really is beautiful. We have, gorgeous farm fields, but we have the Mississippi River on one side of the state, the Missouri River on the other. We have bluffs and cave systems and rolling
I
hills.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cave systems.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it is it's really a beautiful place with great people.
Will we see? I'm so fascinated by caves. One time I went on a cave exploratory, hiking trip, spelunking, I think it's technically called, but I'm like, let's just call it exploring a cave. Let's not make it weird. But it was so cool to be in this enormous cave where it felt like miles, and there were the enormous stalagmites, which are like the rocks hanging from the ceiling. And I was like, oh, I hope I don't get crushed. But it was so cool and also so claustrophobic to be in there.
Yeah, for sure. And so I can't remember what number book it is, but This Is How I Lied is set in a town with these cave systems, and it was crucial to the plot of the story, but really creepy. I spent quite a bit of time there, and a great spot for a thriller to take place.
Well, I want to remind everyone that the book is not even out yet. It drops tomorrow, and you can pre-order today. Again, giving your future self the gift of a book. Excuse me. So pre-order and give yourself that gift today. And the good folks at Murder by the Book will ship it out to you first thing tomorrow morning when she comes out in the world. So here again, whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube, is that link to pre-order The Perfect Hosts. Heather Gudenkauf, thank you so much for coming on and giving us the inside scoop on the worlds of The Perfect Hosts, Madeline, Melly, Jamie, and a few more, and giving us the inside scoop, taking all of our most burning questions. It's been so great to see you and host you again, and we want to wish you a very happy pub day.
Thanks. It's always so great to talk with you, Sarah. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you all for spending your Mystery Monday lunch with a thriller author. I hope it was chilling. And I will see you next Monday. May the J's and the pages fly by until then.